Hello friends, in this video we will talk about JavaScript and JavaScript Runtime. What is the difference between these two? If you are a seasoned programmer or you started programming for let's say a month or a year, then you might have heard these terms, runtime, in multiple languages. It's not just related to JavaScript, but C++, Java, right? But in this video we will talk about the runtime from the perspective of JavaScript, but the same concept applies on other languages as well. So are you excited about it? Let's go and see in depth what these terms means. JavaScript. It is a language, right? Now in computer science, in high level languages I'm talking, there are few languages which are compiled. That means compiled languages are turned from the code to byte code. That means in 0 and 1 type of code. This code is this transformation from code to byte code have multiple stages, but that's a topic of some other video. In this, in short, you can consider that your code, whatever you write, will turn into the byte code. However, there are few languages which are interpreted. That means we will see the examples of both basically on compiled languages and interpreted language. But the language which are interpreted, it means code will be transformed into some middle code, some code, let's say, which can be interpreted and the instruction can be executed. So here, this will be a different type of code, a simplified version. The examples of this compiled languages are C++, C, right? And these are machine dependent. That means if you are using Windows laptop or a MacBook or Linux, you have to compile the code separately for each platform, right? Even if your machine is big Indian or small Indian, little Indian basically, or the architecture is different, right? Even in let's say Linux based, it's a Solaris or some other version of Linux, the code has to be compiled in separately for each platform, right? Whereas the code, if it is written in interpreted language, these are not required to be compiled or to be interpreted in separate thing, because there are different versions of the software which interpret these language comes. So if you are using, let's say, JavaScript language, and if you're using Windows, then you will, when you install the Windows software, for example Node.js or your browser, these are Windows specific, right? If it is Linux, then Linux, or MacBook, then MacBook based installer. And these runtimes basically, it is a runtime which basically interpret these language and execute the code line by line. So JavaScript runtime will transform your code, JavaScript files, JS files, and let's say if it is a simple program and you have so many instructions in your file, it will go one by one and execute these. At that particular point of time, they will try to understand and convert them to 0 to 1, 0 1 language basically, right? Because computer understand only the 0 1. So these are called interpreted languages, and for this interpretation it requires runtime, and this runtime is dependent on platform. So when whatever the laptops or machines you are using, it will automatically, you will have to install some software, and that software will take care of the platform dependency. Now when we say in terms of JavaScript, there is a code language, right? And then there are so many web APIs are provided by runtime, which will help you in program nicely. For example, if you want to interact with the hardware, or if you want to interact with network calls, right? Or files on your system, All these are provided as a web API. Promises, WebRTC, where you have to call basically a video call using JavaScript, right? All this are written in JavaScript and is provided as a web API. So in JavaScript, if we see what is the runtime, you might have heard this term V8 engine, right? This V8 engine is a JavaScript engine which helps in runtime interpretation, and this comes from Chromium based browsers. Now you might have used Chrome as a browser, right? Chrome is built on top of Chromium. Chromium is a browser which is open source, and now Microsoft Edge is also started using Chromium, right? So they have the engine which will basically interpret and understand the language, JavaScript language, which they are using the V8 engine. And browser is one software which is basically providing this JavaScript engine for web interaction. But some of you know that JavaScript can be used for server-side code as well, using the Node.js. So Node provide that runtime for running the JavaScript on only local machine for servers. And Node.js is also using V8 engine. And this Node.js browsers, especially the Node.js, if we talk, it is written in C++, right? And this C++ is platform dependent. So for the first time, if you install Node.js, it will ask whether you want to install on Windows or Mac or Linux, right? So there are different types of installer. And this makes platform dependency, but however, this runtime V8 engine is independent of the platform and can be used on any machine, and the same code base you can run anywhere. So I hope you got the idea of JavaScript and JavaScript runtime. And the same concept applies to other languages as well. For example, Java or Python, they have their runtime, and that runtime can be extracted out and can be used in different ways. So this is all about internals of JavaScript and runtime. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section. I hope this video adds value to your understanding. Please let me know in the comment section what other topics you are struggling and want me to create videos on. I will create videos on those topics. Please subscribe to my channel. This is BK from Manikka. I create videos on technology so that it will be helpful in understanding to other students. With this note, I'll take a leave. This is BK from Manikka, signing off.